Yeah. So I called Alexis, and Alexis B. Levitt, Esquire, and I said, will you come on again? She said, I'd love to. So what do? You have special needs planning.
Elder law, special needs planning, and estate planning.
So why do we need it?
So elder law is really about getting your ducks in a row as you get older and figuring out where you would want care if you start to need more care, and how we're going to make that happen.
And it happens. People, my cousin just told me I have to go, I think, into assisted living.
Okay. So we could have a whole conversation about assisted living. But you started asking, what do these things mean? So elder care is really about what kind of care might you need down the road, and how are we going to map that out? Where are we going to find that care? Are we going to talk about assisted living? Are we going to talk about bringing care into the home? Are we going to talk about nursing home care? Are we going to talk about moving to a child's house maybe?
Oh, all the scary items.
Change is scary, but we try to map out so that you have a plan of where you would want to live and where that care would come from, both in terms of the people who would provide care to you, but also the money. People need to be paid.
Oh.
So where would that come from?
Where will it?
Well, you brought up assisted living. So for some people, as we're creating these long-term care plans, we say, well, assisted living sounds like it would be the right option. So I should back up and say what assisted living is, because a lot of people don't know. So assisted living, or actually, let me back up even more. So generally speaking, if we're talking about getting older and starting to need help, most people think of, I'm going to stay in my house, obviously, and bring some care in. So you could bring in home health aides. Kids usually come and help. Neighbors might help. And for a lot of people, that works.
It's expensive.
If you're bringing in home health aides, yes, that starts to add up quickly. We can get some Medicaid mass health assistance for home health aides for some people. The numbers have to line up. We can get veterans assistance, aid and attendance is what it's called, through the Veterans Administration. Will pay for, well, they'll give you money that you turn around and use to hire home health aides. And then, like I said, kids might help, neighbors might help. So that would be the idea of, can we stay at home? And then, and that works for some people, and for some people works for a period of time, and then it stops working because maybe they need more help than they can afford, or maybe because they don't have a circus conductor. Really, if you're gonna stay home and you need a lot of help, you need, I call it a circus conductor.
I was going to say, what is that?
Somebody who can manage the schedule of which home health aides are coming when. This one didn't show up.
That's what my cousin said to me yesterday. She didn't show up, and I can't be alone, blah, blah, blah.
Right, exactly. And then on top of that, the circus conductor also has to make sure doctor's appointments are made and kept, and we get you to the doctor's appointment, that prescriptions are picked up or show up in the mail, whatever it might be. And then all the usual stuff that goes with having a house. The plumber, because the sink broke, whatever it might be. So if you're going to stay at home, you need a circus conductor. And for some elders, they are the manager, but for the circus conductor. But for some elders, they need someone else to be in that position. So if you're talking about staying at home, who's going to manage? And it might be the elder, or it might be somebody else. And if you don't have someone to manage, forget it. To stay at home, we're going to bring in home health aides and kids and neighbors. And for the home health aides in particular, who's going to pay for that?
Yes.
So some people have money and they'll pay for it themselves. We can get some help from Mass Health, which is Medicaid. In Massachusetts, we call it Mass Health. It's Medicaid, same thing. And then also to pay for home health aides, like I said, we can, for some people, tap into the Veterans Administration has what's called aid and attendance. So that's a lot of the puzzle of staying at home. And then you mentioned assisted living. So for people who can't stay at home because they're missing any one of those components, or maybe they're just done. I'm done with winter. I'm not dealing with making sure the snowplow shows up. I'm done, right? You could move to assisted living. And assisted living is mostly private pay. So for the most part, right, for the most part, we're talking about only if you've got a decent amount of savings. And assisted living, so what that is I kind of think of it like a college almost, like, because It'll be a building, and everyone has their own apartment, a 1-bedroom or a studio, but you don't spend a lot of time there. You spend all your time out in the common rooms and doing the activities and the classes and the clubs.
Oh, I love my aloneness. Forget it.
Yeah, so it's right for people who don't like lots of activity. It might not be the right place, but all your meals are taken care of, laundry, housekeeping, etc.
That sounds nice.
And then, you don't have to come out of your room. That's the other thing.
I would be in my room 24/7.
So you could. You can be in there with your books and your movies, etc. And people will come check on you. So this is the big plus of assisted living is there's people around. People keeping an eye. People in the middle of the night, someone comes to check on you. And if they come in and you're on the floor, they know that. If you were at home, no one's coming in the middle of the night to check on you. So, and then obviously during the day, somebody's coming knocking on your door, making sure you come down to eat your 3 meals.
Oh, because I can't cook. Can I cook in that room? Or
it depends on...
Yeah, on how much money you have to have more than a studio.
Yeah, right, obviously, right. The studios are less money, 1 bedrooms are more, 2 bedrooms are more. So, and it depends on which building you go to. We have a lot of good ones on the South Shore. I always say that on the South Shore, we're very, very rich in resources for seniors between the home health agencies and the assisted livings and the rehabs and the nursing homes and the independent livings and the geriatric care managers. We just have a lot down here on the South Shore. So you can find what works for you. I think we're very lucky in that regard. We have a lot to pick from. So like on the topic of assisted livings, let's say you decided, okay, I have the money and assisted living is right for me. You've got several to choose from. So you could really find the one that feels right, one that almost like picking a college. You can find the one that feels right for you. So we're very lucky here on the South Shore in that sense. So like I said, assisted living is mostly private pay. There's a little bit of public money out there that people need to know about.
And you'll tell them, right, when they come to see you.
Oh, yeah, when people, right, and we'll talk about that. So, but just on the topic of assisted living specifically, like I said, it's mostly private. It could be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. So you could go through your savings pretty quickly.
Ooh.
So there's really 2 sources of help for this. So the easier one, the friendlier one to deal with is the Veterans Administration Aid and Attendance. So that's money for a veteran, his or her widow or spouse. So living, they can both be living, and let's say he's the veteran and she's the one who needs help, she can get aid and attendance.
Ah.
Yep, so even though he is still living, the veteran, if she's the one who needs help, she can get the aid and attendance money. So there's hardly any programs at all within the VA that benefit the spouses, the wives, the widows, but this is one of them. So it's fabulous. So if the vet is the one who needs help, it's money. It gets direct deposited, just like your Social Security shows up in your checking account every month. The aid and attendance, the same thing. So for a veteran, I'm forgetting the numbers. I think it's something like $2,300 for him. For a spouse or a widow, it's about $1,800 a month.
Not bad.
I think those are the right numbers. And so let's say you're the widow of a veteran, just because we tend to outlive the guys. So if you're the widow of a veteran and you're looking at assisted living, you've got this much money in the bank and you're afraid you're going to burn through it quickly. Well, if you could get another $1,800 a month coming in from the VA, it doesn't pay for assisted living. That's not $5,000, $6,000 a month. It's $1,800 a month, but it slows down that burn rate on your savings so you can stay at assisted living for longer. So it's about stretching out. You're going to stretch out your assets to stay in the assisted living for longer. So that's aid and attendance. So people need to be aware of that, because you see the sticker price, or even home health aides. People watch their money going.
Oh, my cousin
down,
said
down.
she can't afford much more.
It adds up. So home health aides are just angels. They're saviors. They come in and they're going to do everything that's going to help you stay at home, but they got to get paid. So yes, you can watch your savings quickly start to go down with home health aides. So if you have $1,800 a month coming in, again, that's not going to cover the whole month, but that's going to slow down your burn rate. so you can stretch out your savings and stay home for longer. So that's, so assisted living, so we were saying that it's mostly private pay. If you can get that assisted living, the aid and attendance money through the VA, that helps. And then some assisted livings have Medicaid contracts, Mass Health, Medicaid.
Yes.
So if you project that I can move to assisted living, but I know that in 3, 4, 5 years I'm going to run out of money, you could move into a building that has one of these Medicaid programs, and then as you run out of money in 3, 4, 5 years, you can slide onto the Medicaid program, and that will take over paying for your apartment. So no building is going to take you in on a Medicaid slot. They hold those really for people who've been there for a while. So you really do need to go in planning on private paying for a good amount of time. But so you're not going to get into a building usually. There's some ifs, ands, or buts there. But if you project, I think I'm pretty healthy and I'm going to outlive this money, then you should move into a building with the Medicaid program. Then you'll slide onto that. If all the stars line up. It's expensive. I can't say otherwise.
Now, when people come to you,
Yes.
do they come husband and wife? Do they come when they're younger, older? They bring a sibling? Do they bring a family member, a brother, a sister, or their children, or what? How do they start on holding on to as much as they can? And
it all depends. You know, there are some people who come when they're young and healthy and fine, and they say, usually, you know, I had a sibling who went through something, and that was the spark for this couple or individual to come in nice and early just to get a plan in place and their ducks in a row.
it catches up fast.
Most people come in because they're in the middle of something.
Oh,
It's happening right now. So, and it could be like a wife comes in because my husband, we've been trying to take care of him at home. It's not working. We need help. Or it could be a child coming in. My parents, both of them, were over there every night helping out. We're over there on the weekends. We need help.
is it too late at that point?
No. So an elder law attorney can step in at any time and figure out where are you right now in terms of what kind of care do you need, what kind of care would you like to have, and what's your financial situation, your assets, your income, are you a veteran, and what's your support system? You know, how helpful are your kids and neighbors? And you can look at all those things and come up with a plan for anybody. So a plan is really tailored to that family.
How long how many visits they come in?
So people come in, we'll do a planning session.
With an appointment, right?
Oh yeah, they call in, yep, and we find a date that works for everybody. They come in, they have a planning session that's usually 2 hours. We send them we send them a checklist beforehand.
So they bring in all the
They
paper.
bring in everything, you know, and people bring me, the more they bring, the better. So
Is that right?
oh yeah, the more information I have, the better. So bank statements, life insurance policies, deed to the house, if you've done wills, power of attorneys, healthcare proxies before, anything that's going to show me legally and financially who you are, papers. And then we talk. The people are going to tell me who they are in terms of personality, what's their support system, what kind of care do they have now, what do they wish they had instead, and we'll really work through, and I can say, okay, so here's what I think you can be doing, right? And it's different for every family. So I might say to somebody after we've talked for like an hour, I might say, it sounds like bringing home health aides in hasn't worked. Because, so I have a family I'm working with right now where they have the money for home health aides for the husband, but for the wife, it's just too much to have people coming and going.
I know.
The circus is
Yeah.
too much.
I love that name you gave it. What was that name?
Circus conductor.
Yes.
Really. So they have the money for the home health aides, but she just can't do it anymore. So for this family, okay, we're going to take home health aides off the table and let's talk about assisted living. Does this look
For this
right
husband.
him? Yeah, for the husband. And then if that doesn't look right, should we talk about nursing home for him? So in this family...
Nursing home is what? Nursing home.
Nursing home, it looks and feels like a hospital.
Yep.
Yes, so assisted living is where you have your own apartment
Yes.
and you go down to the
But
common
nursing
room.
home is-
Nursing home
Its reality is messy.
very. That's where you have the roommate and the hospital beds and
I know my mother had. But,
yes,
oh,
that's nursing home. Yes.
and they die on you in your roommate. And, it's not pleasant.
Roommates die, you get a new
New
roommate.
roommate, oh.
Yes, yes. So nursing homes can provide amazing services for people, but I think the environs aspect we really need to work on. How a nursing home feels to live in.
Yeah, I'm
every
going to
day,
move
we
you
need
in
work
to have
on.
coffee with these people. Oh,
Yeah.
the whole thing. But it's
Yes.
better than falling and not being able to get up. And
For most people. Some people, if somebody is still competent and they say, I know I'm a fall risk, but I'm not leaving this house. And if I fall and you find me on the floor in 3 days dead, fine. And if you're competent, you can make that choice.
that's good.
Yes, if you are competent and you know the risk that you're taking, for example, if you're a fall risk and you say, I might fall down, I might fall down these stairs in the middle of the night.
Mm.
And if you're
But I wanna
confident,
be in my
but
home.
I want to be in my house, then you can.
Yes.
You can.
If you can afford the people that are going to come and go.
Yes. Yes. And
Or if you
can-
need somebody to stay all night.
Yes. So for a lot of people, so yeah, going back to the idea of staying at home and bringing in help, for most people, that's where it falls apart, is if they need overnight help.
Yes.
Because if they get up at night, particularly. So a lot of times we'll have parents living with kids or kids taking turns coming over during the day.
How does that work out?
Really well sometimes. But the deal breaker for most kids is, for example, if you have a parent living with you or you're sleeping over her house all the time, is if she gets up in the middle of the night on a consistent basis, now the child isn't sleeping.
Yes.
And that's it. None of us can survive on no
No.
sleep. So that's usually the deal breaker for people. They say, this just isn't going to work anymore. Mom needs to go to assisted living or she needs to go to nursing home. Paying for home health aides to come in to do that 12-hour overnight shift,
It's a lot of money.
a lot of money. Very few people have that kind of
Yeah,
money.
my cousin's kid said it's now time to talk about assisted living or nursing
Yes.
home or something.
Yes. Yes. So that definitely happens. So
And
it's-
you put that all in?
we put it all into place. So if someone comes in and and as we're talking, we really feel like staying at home is going to work for a while. Let's say we put in that stair.
Everybody
the
loves
chair.
that, yeah.
And we've got the kids live down the street. They don't mind stopping by.
A
in the
lot
morning
don't
and the
live down
evening,
the street.
but a lot-
Everybody's all over the world.
They are. So to have, for some people staying at home, we say, you know what, this is working. But let's talk about if this stops working, let's have a plan in place. And that's when I'll say to them, down the road, you might need assisted living. And I think you can afford it. Or I think if we got you aid in attendance, you could afford it. Or I say to them, you're never going to afford assisted living. So if at home doesn't work, your next stop is nursing home. And then we'll talk about how to afford nursing home. So, which we should talk about because that
Medicare kicks in, doesn't it?
Medicare, yes. Medicare is what we all get when we turn 65. So if you go to a nursing home, and again, that's the one that looks and feels like a hospital. And I'm saying that because some people call assisted living nursing home. So I want
It
to be
isn't,
it's
yeah.
not. I want to be very clear. Assisted living is sort of like a college dorm. Nursing home is the one that looks and feels like a hospital. So if you are going to a nursing home, at the beginning, the first couple weeks are usually, but not always, covered by Medicare. Medicare is what we all get when we turn 65. It's actually Medicare and your supplement work together. If you have a Tufts or Blue Cross or Harvard Vanguard, whatever it might be, they work together, Medicare and your supplement, and they pay for the first couple of weeks usually. And then after that, done. You're on your own. Zero, zip, nada, you are on your own. So the business office will say, so, will you be privately paying?
Oh,
So, and if you have the money, then you're absolutely free to privately pay. What some people will do, if they have the money, is they'll spend it on the nursing home every month until they run out, and then they'll turn to Mass Health, which is Medicaid. Other people might not have any money, and as soon as that Medicare runs out, I've got to apply for Mass Health. Other people might come to an elder law attorney and say, I have some money, but is there anything I can do so that I'm not spending it, and instead I'm applying for Mass Health? So again, the puzzle is when you first go to nursing home, usually Medicare and your supplement pay for a few weeks. After that, where's the money going to come from?
Where is it?
So like I said, you could privately pay, which plenty of people do, or you could look to Mass Health. Medicaid. Medicare is what we all get when we turn 65. Medicaid started out as a poverty program, and it has grown into much more than that. So Medicaid, federal program, every state gives it its own name. We call it Mass Health. California, they call it Medi-Cal.
So we're living off the government? They're giving us...
Yes, the government is happy to pay for nursing home. It's unbelievably frustrating, and we can have a whole conversation about that. The government's getting a little bit better about paying for home health aides, paying for assisted living, but mostly the government will pay for nursing home care. Not too much for assisted living and not too much for staying at home.
God.
We're working on it. It's changing a little bit, way
But
too
you're
slowly.
up on all those things.
Yes. So, but for now, the government will pay you comparatively. That's the word. Compared to home care or assisted living, the government will more easily and freely pay for nursing home care.
It's God's waiting room.
That's one way of putting it, yes. So there's a lot going on.
Is it help if they come to you sooner than later?
Yes.
Because you do estate planning, but you do other things too.
We started this whole conversation with what do all these things mean. So elder law is really that long-term care planning,
Which everybody should do.
Everybody needs to do. Special needs planning we'll come back to. Estate planning is more people think about my will, my trust, my healthcare proxy, my power of attorney. So we do that. That's all part of the plan when we are putting together this plan of, well, should you stay at home for a while? Can you afford it? And then if that doesn't work anymore, are you going to be able to go to assisted living? And then if that doesn't work, whether medically or financially, how are we going to pay for nursing home? And weaving your will and your trust into that is all part of the puzzle.
Yeah, because you have money that you want to leave to your kids and
Yes.
don't want to touch it. Oh my.
Yes. So it's a big puzzle, and we weave it all together. And then you asked, should people come sooner or later? People can come whenever they come. They should come sooner.
I would think so.
I have more options I can give them the earlier they come to me, which makes actually my job a little harder. When they come to me later in the process, when they're in crisis, I only have one or two options to give them. So they have less options. Quite honestly, my job is easier because I only have one or two options I can give them. So
what's earlier, 60s, 50s?
No, not 50s. 60s, maybe 70s. Maybe you're just starting to feel maybe some health effects coming along.
And believe me, it creeps up and it comes boom.
Right. That's when people should come, because then we can put a whole big plan in place. So if you ever need home health aides, we'll go in this direction. If you need assisted living, we'll go in this direction. If you need nursing home,
But you have a plan.
Yes. And we can set up all the money right now, the way we label it at the bank, so that things will be able to, go down whichever path.
They're telling me 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. We haven't even talked about these things. Can we talk about these?
Absolutely, whatever you want.
Actually, special needs planning.
I have a daughter who's totally deaf.
So every single person who comes in for a planning session, the first thing we do is a family tree. Tell me about who are you, your kids, etc. And if we have special needs kids, or special needs grandchildren in a family tree, we build extra planning in for that. Any inheritance to a special needs child.
And there's a lot to do with that.
There's a lot to do. Any inheritance to a special needs child, it needs to be inherited within a special needs trust. So if you keep it in that vessel, it will not, when she inherits it, it will not interfere with her public benefits, because she's probably on SSI and housing and Mass Health. So if she just inherits money, kaputski to all of her benefits. But if she inherits it inside this vessel
I
of
hope everybody's listening.
of a special needs trust, she inherits the money, but she keeps her benefits,
Yes.
her housing, her money,
So
her
important.
healthcare. Yes, really important. So everybody gets asked, do you have special needs kids, special needs grandchildren? So, all right, but we should talk about these things real quick. So we've been talking about all these sort of, fancier, higher level planning. This is as fundamental as it gets. Everybody, when we turn 18, we need a healthcare proxy. I didn't have a sample to print out. All my healthcare proxies have clients' names on them. So I didn't bring one with me to show you. But a healthcare proxy is a document. As soon as you turn 18, nobody can speak for us anymore, right?
Yes.
So you need to make a legal document called a healthcare proxy where you designate somebody to speak for you, make decisions for you in the event that you cannot make or communicate your healthcare wishes. So we always do that. Are we getting a clock here?
Yeah, you're telling me 3 minutes.
So everybody needs to have a healthcare proxy.
And they come to you for this?
So thank you. Thank you for putting my thoughts back on track. Thank you. So yes, there's two ways to do it. In Massachusetts, you can find a healthcare proxy online. So Honoring Choices Massachusetts is a fabulous nonprofit. It's really a one-woman show. She's unbelievable. Eileen DePola. It's incredible what she's done. So Honoring Choices. So that's just Massachusetts. It doesn't work for other states. And if you go on her website, it walks you through what is a healthcare proxy. You can download one and fill it out, and there's directions as to how to fill out the different lines. So that's fabulous. If you come into my office, I'm going to give you one that's much more extensive and thorough and longer. So if you come to my office, you're getting one of mine. But if you're not going to see an elder law attorney, definitely go onto that Honoring Choices website and go through that exercise and fill out a healthcare proxy. But then, of course, you have to tell your family that you have it. You have to put it, some people put them on the fridge. Some people put them on the back of the door. Some people put them in the glove compartment of your car. You have to file it at your doctor's office. Having it, at home in your desk drawer, it's useless. You got to get it out there. So that's the healthcare proxy. So everybody needs to do this. And then end-of-life care wishes, you also want to share with your family. The healthcare proxy is a legal document that says who can make my decisions if I can't make them myself. But then you got to tell your family, what do I want those decisions to be?
Yes.
So this is one example, this Your Way workbook. We buy these from a nonprofit by the box of 100. I give this to everybody who comes to see me, and it just walks you through, if you can just tell by the boxes here, it just walks you through all different scenarios. Yes. So this is a way to think about your wishes. The Go Wish card game, it's another way. And then the Conversation Project, that's another website to check out. That's a Massachusetts project. Some great people, sort of thought leaders on end of care wishes are right here in Massachusetts. They're doing a lot of good work that's spreading across the country. So the Conversation Project is another website you can go to that helps you think about and share with your family, what are the wishes that I want you to carry out if you're ever acting as my healthcare proxy. So great resources out there. Fabulous things for people to use.
Where are you? Just give your number.
Oh, so
and they have it up there, but
so I'm in Norwell, right on 53.
oh, you can't miss it. Are you near the chocolate?
Oh, right down the street from Hilliard's. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, not far at all. And yeah, we have a website with a lot of good articles on there, alexislevitt.com.
Excellent. You are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much. This is so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye for now.